Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
I think I've been calling this movie by the wrong title. Even the file preparation, and usually for every podcast episode, there's 5 to 7 files created, and they all have to be named the same thing, named the same way. This is for later discoverability if I ever have to search for something, but it's also for production, meaning we want things in a file umbrella or file branches. The Neon Demon. So I make all of these files. I believe I've spoken about this movie before. I know I mentioned it, but I don't think I ever did a targeted episode. But the Neon Demon, I always called it Neon Demon. This is Nicholas Winding Refn, NWR. And we want to say, like, this is one of his movies. He ascended around this time with Drive. And then he takes Ryan Gosling and he makes Only God Forgives. Then he makes this movie. This was one of the first movies that I just saw appear. You know, like it's on Amazon and you can watch it. It's right here. And it blew my mind that something this giant, clever, serious, and just beautiful to listen to and look at. It's just free. It's free on my TV. And when I first watched this movie, it was just like, oh man, like, you know, like he's kind of, what is he doing? Because Drive wasn't so much of a movie about a driver. You know, like Drive is really, you know, like two people that they fall in love. It doesn't quite work out. And things move on. Things move forward. And the driver in Drive, or Ryan Gosling's character, because he's nameless, he continues at the end of that movie with like himself, and it's a mission. It's almost like Drive, like just talking about Drive real quick. Drive is almost a very intricate, detailed character study on the psyche of Ryan Gosling's character. And then we get into Only God Forgives. Again, beautiful to look at, incredible music, all of it. And Only God Forgives builds this idea of revenge and endless revenge. And maybe the powerful can end a revenge cycle. So both of these concepts I tell you about that happened in Nicholas Winding Refn movies, people are just lost on them. They're just totally lost. But I was there, you know, in the theater when Drive came out, and it had a shockwave. Drive, I would think me and my ex-girlfriend, or my girlfriend at the time, we might have, because she fell in love with it, we might have seen that movie like 3 times in 1 week. It might have been like within 2 weeks. We fell in love with the soundtrack and everything. We would play the music and go to the parties and put the music. We would do it all. And one of the years for Halloween, I want to say it was called like Heavy Garage, or I'm drawing a blank, but I could remember it with a little bit of time. There was a company that got the Drive license for the jacket, for the Korean racing jacket, which is like it's almost like silk. I guess maybe it's meant to be a little bit fire resistant, but it's got this like silk material. It's quilted with a yellow scorpion on the back. And they also did like a black on black version, which I sure got that too. I have since then grown out of that jacket in 2 sizes, but I was Ryan Gosling's character in Drive for two Halloweens. And both Halloweens, people loved it. They would just come up and be like, I know what that's from. You get all the conversations. So all of this energy from Drive flowed into Only God Forgives. And no one got Only God Forgives, which is bizarre to me because I love putting that movie on. I love watching that freaking movie. Even like the mother in that. Oh my God. And then, right, I have this evening. I want to say it was one of my like single evenings, you know, like single Peter, single Peter in the city. Bright lights, big city, right? Because every place but one that I lived in Philly, I could see the Philadelphia skyline. So it's always been with me, and it's just watching Neon Demon alone in that environment, being by myself where I could turn it up and kill the lights. Neon Demon instantly captured me. But here's what happened, and I get caught up in things. This movie came out in 2016, and since then, Nicholas Winding Refn has not had this career trip. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson recently won the Oscar for. I don't know. That one battle after another is not even close to 3 of these movies that we've been discussing. But I would have put money on that Nicholas Winding Refn, NWR, would have won, or at least nominated multiple times for Oscars by now. Win one, nominated 3 times, like a good ratio like that, right? Like every 3rd year we get an Oscar run from this guy. That never happened, and really, what happened, I feel that the internet kind of creeped in, and this analysis marketplace came up on YouTube, or an analysis, like digital essay type of YouTuber emerged, and they confused the points of everything we're just. I mean, and Neon Demon is the one that they really went heavy on, because people will go into these ideas about this movie, and I'm coming to you from a position of being passive about this movie, being thrilled by, again, the audio, the visuals, being absolutely into the who is it? Ellie Fanning, where like she is perfect, like perfectly put in this movie. All of these things, but not feeling like my veins and my DNA connecting to this material. But then like the internet comes full circle, because I put this movie on, and I was just kind of aimlessly scrolling, and I'm on my Amazon tab on my TV, or Amazon Hub or section, and this movie kind of just flies by, and I get this like crossover, that right, like, okay, I've tried to rewatch this movie in the past. It never converted me. It never did. But now, with everything we know about the Epstein files, and let's just say 1% of the Epstein files are true, it's some of the scariest stuff imaginable. It really is. And we look at Neon Demon through the lens of corruption and recruitment, and how much like young flesh is coveted. But the internet essay market, or the internet analysis, or the YouTube and analyzers, let's just call them that. Well, these people will go into detail of how this like ritual works about this girl, that these other girls in this movie are witches, that Keanu Reeves is somehow allegorical for Lucifer. Like we get these giant biblical cult themes running through this movie. And what you need to know about this movie, this is a movie about essentially a teenage runaway that gets streamlined into the top of the fashion industry. And her orbiters are watching her ascend, and they are reeling along the way. That's the plot of this movie. And then we get into, let's just call it the 3rd act, the final 30 minutes, where this becomes a little bit of a ritual of the flesh. And what we know about the Epstein files, and you watch this movie, now this movie takes a whole other context, and I haven't had a film going experience quite like this one. I implore everyone to watch this movie in the lens of the Epstein files and learn about the Epstein files, and sure, go down some of those the Epstein myth, like, right, like there's already a myth marketplace for the Epstein stuff popping up on YouTube, and the critical thinking about what really was there and what really was happening is already gone. But if we just engage in, right, it's just get into both of it. Get into the Epstein files, watch this movie, and then you might see this movie in a different light, just like myself. All right, AKAPADers, the Neon Demon from our boy Nicholas Winding Refn, one of the best.
Okay, that's a wrap.